Michelle?
This morning, can I turn it on?
Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, class. We're going to start with our warm-up. Hopefully, everybody grabbed their paper and pencil as they walked in. Take about 30 seconds. I know you've had a few seconds. Take about 30 more seconds to complete the warm-up for this morning. Anybody see the cross this morning?
Yeah.
No? Nobody see the cross this morning? Okay. So I need a brave volunteer because it's in our own words. So it's not going to be right. It's not going to be wrong. We may be able to fine tune it, but in your own words, what do you think the term segregation means? Can I get any volunteer? And I saw your hand first, young man. Thank you for volunteering. Separate by color. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Segregate, separate. If we can remember those two words, we'll have a good understanding of what segregation is. We're going to encounter this word at some point throughout this lesson. You're already a step ahead of the game because you know what it means. Did everybody have something similar on their paper? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. So keep up with your warm-up. You know, at the end of the week, you get credit for all of your warm-up. So keep up with your warm-up throughout the whole week. And now we're gonna get ready to get started with today's lesson. Okay. The learning goal for today's lesson is to explain how the development of Atlanta under mayors William B. Hartsfield and Ivan Allen Jr. impacted the state. So the important words in this learning goal: development, Atlanta, and we see two names. And these two names, I will tell you, are mayors. So that's our learning goal for today. By show of hands, we had a long weekend. Did y'all enjoy y'all 4-day weekend? Nobody got in trouble, right? By chance, did anybody go to the A this weekend? Anybody went to Atlanta this weekend? Me neither. My funds weren't right. I didn't go to Atlanta either. But I asked that question because if you would have said, yeah, I was just going to ask you, what did you do in Atlanta? How did you get around? Things like that, you know, because that's kind of the direction that this lesson is going to take. So no one went to Atlanta this weekend, but I will ask you, everybody in the class, we've been to Atlanta, right? Most of us have been to Atlanta. Have we passed the Atlanta airport? Okay. Have we ever been to the airport by chance? Been to the airport? Okay, thank you. Anybody ever got a chance to fly on an airplane? That's a lot of fun. No. I can tell you it's fun. I'm a little bit intimidated by the airport. That airport is so huge. And you kind of have to know where you're going, and you kind of ask people, am I in the right place? You got to be early because it's busy. I say that it's busy because that's important. It's an international airport. So we don't just travel from Ohio to Georgia to Florida. We go all over the world. From right there in Atlanta. It's a busy airport. So you might not know where you're going. You might need some instructions. So by the end of this lesson, we're going to encounter some vocabulary words. We're going to go over about 12 or 13 vocabulary words. And we're going to be able to match those words to the right definition. And by the words, some of the words will be people and some will just be vocabulary terms. And we're going to be able to explain how these two men impacted the state. And again, these men are William B. Hartsfield and Ivan Allen Jr. And then the fun part. Any sports fans out there? Any sports fans? I know you're a sports fan, but the question, sports fan. Okay, so we're going to be able to name the 3 sports teams that are professional teams that are right 100 miles away up the road in Atlanta. 3 sports teams, professional teams. So let's dive into today's lesson. Everybody on board? I need some enthusiasm. On board? On board. Thank you. Okay.
Will you kind of like tell us how
Highlights.
Oh, no, my Miss Jones got it.
Transformation at an
We
unprecedented
will watch a
level.
video first.
It takes determination, forward thinking, and vision to create a great change. To transform the aviation hub of the Southeast into a regional global gateway, it took two men who possessed courage, fortitude, and passion. Two men serving decades apart, dedicated to a single vision to make Atlanta Airport an international, regional, and global model for aviation efficiency and economic impact. William D. Hartsfield, Maynard H. Jackson Jr. were those two men. And because of their actions, dedication, and inspiration, Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport continued to prosper, to grow, and to find great success, flight after flight, and year after year. Perhaps it's these two visionaries who said it best. In the words of William D. Hartsfield, somehow Atlanta always meets the challenge. We've been doing it and will continue in the years to come. And as Maynard H. Jackson said it, we stand not as much as a gateway to the South, but as a gateway to a new time, a new era, a new beginning for the cities of our land. Two men, one vision. Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Atlanta's front door to the world.
And so with that video, what we just did, you guys, it was kind of a hook, or we activated schema. And that just simply means in educational terms that that's kind of the gateway to what we will be discussing on today.
Canvas and then learning tools.
Oh, from here.
We're gonna go back here.
And if you all will stay with me and not leave me on this morning as we walk through the lesson. So we went over our learning goal. It says, explain the development of Atlanta under mayors William B. Hartsfield and Ivan Allen Jr. Impacted the state. And we're going to move forward. And the first mayor that we're going to look at, remember this name, jot this name down. It should be on your slide. William B. Hartsfield. He was the mayor between 1937 and 1962. He brought many improvements to the city, and he was the longest serving mayor in the history of Atlanta. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that he, as mayor, he served more than one term as mayor. Mayors traditionally usually serve one term equals 4 years. This particular mayor served more than one term. And then another interesting thing, if we look at this date, 1937, you guys, one of our last lessons, we just finished talking about the Great Depression. So if we look at this date, 1937, the Great Depression is still in effect. We're coming on the heels of the end of the Great Depression, but I want you to note that the Great Depression is still going on. So what we're doing is we're traveling through time. And if we had a timeline, we're just progressing up from 37 to 47 to 57, and we're going to encounter different things. So we're going to progress and we're going to modernize a little bit. So that's why that time frame is very important. 1937, the Great Depression is still in effect. Remember this term. This is one of our vocabulary words, William B. Hartsfield. We'll talk more about him. The second mayor that we're going to discuss this morning is Ivan Allen Jr., and he was the mayor of Atlanta between 1962 and 1970, and he brought many improvements to the city. So look at this time frame. We've advanced a few years. We're entering into the time of the Civil Rights Movement. Officially, the Civil Rights Movement began around 1955. So this particular mayor is going to be very helpful in helping to lead us through the Civil Rights Movement in what city are we talking about? In Atlanta. And so, any notable people that everybody on the slide is important, but anybody noticeably stands out in these pictures right here that we recognize? We recognize Dr. King. So this particular mayor, Mayor Ivan Allen, he worked kind of side by side along with Dr. King, and we're going to learn about some things that they did together. But this mayor was helpful in civil rights and guiding us through the civil rights era. Okay, so I've used the term mayor a couple of times. Andy, if you don't mind, Andy, can you read what a mayor is for us? The leader of a city, but not like a governor, but of a city, not a whole state. So as we break it down, we know that we have Governor Kemp right now he is the governor of the whole state of Georgia. But if we just come to Columbus, Georgia, for example, it's a smaller area, so we have a mayor. States have governors, cities have mayors, and just to let you know that our mayor in Columbus is Skip Henderson. But at this time that we were looking at, we saw those two mayors. So the mayor again is the leader of a city. So that was our third vocabulary word. This is our fourth vocabulary word. Integrate or desegregate. And that simply means to end the separation of people based just because of the color of their skin. And we're going to allow everyone, the reason we're all sitting in here today, black people, white people, girls, boys, all of this is because of some of the things that these mayors did when they were serving. So based on the color of their skin, allowing everyone to use the same schools, we can ride on the same buses, we can sit anywhere on the bus we want to sit, and other public places. So if we look at the images, we do see girls, we see boys, we see, all different nationalities. And then this is an image from the civil rights time. Integration means better schools for all. Just the image from civil rights times. Everybody, have I lost anyone? Everybody on board with me? I really, really like the way that everybody is tuned in and you seem to be engaged. Nobody's head is down. Great job. Stick with me. Okay, now we're going to talk about a major transportation hub. This can include an airport, a train station, a highway, and they are used to transport a number of people from one place from all over the country or the world. So I'm going to say that again because I kind of messed that up. Major transportation hub, an airport, train station, or highway that is used by a large number of people from all over the country or the world. So we see the trains, and the trains can be underground. We see the buses, we see the airplanes, and we see a lot of congestion. That's what I see right there. If I had the chance to sit back, park somewhere, and ride this train to go to the concert to see Usher this weekend, I believe I'd rather park my car, get on the train, and travel to see Usher, as opposed to having to deal with all of this traffic. And these are some of the contributions of those two mayors. Because of their work and their effort, they were helpful in developing this major transportation hub. Because one of our goals is to be able to explain how they impacted Atlanta. And this is one way they impacted Atlanta. They were responsible for kind of modernizing and developing this major transportation hub. And this right here, this is a ball of confusion to me because I'm not good with directions. But we're going to talk more about how we get around Atlanta. We know physically what we're going to. Physically we're going to be on the trains. We're going to be on the buses, but we're going to go more into depth about that. So if we look at this record right here, this says Interstate 285, and this is a large highway that circles the city of Atlanta. So you see the red perimeter, and it takes us all around Atlanta. And this is important because the mayors brought this to Atlanta. This was one of the developments. It meant that if I needed to be up here, to travel up here for whatever reason, and I started out down here somewhere, if I was down here and I needed to get up here, I would not have to go through all of that traffic and congestion of Atlanta. It meant that I could, because that would slow you down. All of those cars we saw, everybody trying to get through, we can go around and we can get where we need to go. And I think it's called like a bypass or something like that, because you're bypassing the city. You don't have to deal with all that. And this right here made it more efficient. It was a better way to travel. Anybody good with directions? Anybody think they can go to Atlanta and get from point A to point B? Not drive. I know you can't drive yet, but you think you're good with directions? Me either. I don't think I'm good with directions either. But this was a major accomplishment of the mayors. So we have Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transportation Authority. We're not going to remember all of that. So we simplified it and we say MARTA. And what MARTA is a connection of a connected system of buses and trains that move people around the city of Atlanta very quickly and very affordably. And we're just going to go back to that concert. If the stadium that Usher is doing his concert, or Beyonce is doing her concert in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and say the stadium holds 300,000 people. I don't know if that number is ridiculous or not, but all of those people have to get to the concert, right? So because of the modernization of travel that is associated with the two mayors, they made it better. They made it easier for us to get there. All of us 300,000 people, we're not in our individual automobiles trying to get to the concert. We can go somewhere, we can park, and we can just sit back and let MARTA take us where we need to go. With MARTA coming to Atlanta, it brought many, many jobs, because you got to have somebody to drive the trains. You have to have someone to drive the buses. Someone had to build the railroads, or the infrastructure for the trains to travel on. Someone had to build the trains. All of those things provide jobs, and that's another impact of the mayors, because whatever you can think of, whatever idea you can think of, you have to have a way to make it happen, and that involves people, that involves creating jobs. So do we see the association and why it was important? So some popular places in Atlanta, 5 Points, I've heard of Lenox, the Lenox Mall, downtown, the Peachtree area. I see Bankhead. I've also heard of Buckhead. Buckhead is supposed to be kind of like an affluent area in Atlanta. I think some of the wealthy people kind of hang out in Buckhead. But you could travel from point to point quicker and more efficiently due to this new way of travel, this modernized means of travel. And we're going to go to our next vocabulary word, the Braves. And this is one of Atlanta's professional sports teams. They have 3. And the Atlanta Braves is the baseball team. Huge stadium. This impacts Atlanta because if I go to this game and me and my family, we want popcorn and we want peanuts. You know, the concession stand workers, those are jobs. The people who help seat us and keep us safe, the safety crew, these are jobs. This provides entertainment for our families. So all of this is significant, and it is an impact. Remember the word impact, and an impact of the mayor's leadership. Next, we're going to go to another professional sports team, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. And this is Atlanta's professional football team. And again, same thing, jobs, exposure. when we finish, we'll know that Atlanta has 3 professional sports teams. And the last professional sports team is the Atlanta Hawks, and this is the professional basketball team. All of those people in those stands, they got there a better way. They didn't all have to drive and park. They parked somewhere. They got on the MARTA train, and that made it better. That they were able to get in and out faster when they got there. They had people to provide services for them, and they got the chance to sit back and relax and enjoy a professional sports event all in the city of Atlanta. Even if we wanted to enjoy it, right? We're right here in Columbus. All we have to do is go an hour up the road, and we can enjoy this same event as well. So, the next term is everybody with me. I see you all writing. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. The next term is the Olympics. And the Olympics is a huge international event in which people from all over the world come together to compete in various sports. So when I look at this, I see international, that means all over the world. How are people going to get from, if there's an athlete and he or she is really, really good, really, really fast, and his particular sport may be track, perhaps, and he needs to get to the place where we're going to compete. And this event is being hosted in Atlanta, Georgia. How is he going to get there? I'm sorry? By plane. And so that's, again, that's the impact of these mayors, because we have this international airport right here in Atlanta, Georgia. This particular athlete can travel all the way from Africa, if that's where he or she is from, and they can arrive in the whole city of Atlanta, and they can compete. And so, whenever you have something this big, such as the Olympics, there had to be a background laid by someone. Now, although these particular 2 mayors were not in office when the Olympics made it to Atlanta, because of them laying the groundwork, that's why Atlanta was able to host such a big international event. They had laid the groundwork. We have 3 professional sports teams. Why not? Why not us? Why not Atlanta to host the Olympics? So all because of the impact of those mayors. We had the infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, we had the buildings. We had the hotels to accommodate them, to house them. We had the means to get them around the city. We had the facilities. We had everything that we needed to pull off hosting such a major event. Mr. Barnes, what's my time looking like? I don't have
You're good. You got about 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay, and I think we have 1 or 2 more slides. So the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, this is the airport right there in Atlanta. So when you go to Atlanta, you're going to pass it when you're on 85. And it is the world's busiest airport by passenger traffic in 2022. It flew over 93 million passengers. That's a whole bunch of people moving from point A to point B. And when they come to the city of Atlanta, they're going to stop at the airport. They're going to spend money. You got to feed the people who are in the city. So that brings revenue. When I say revenue, I just mean income and money to the city of Atlanta. And that impacts the state of Georgia, the bigger picture. So, and then we're going to go to that term, civil rights. And that is the belief that everyone should be treated fairly, have the same rights, no matter their skin color. So the 2 mayors that we are discussing and focusing on today, because of their efforts and their contributions, the civil rights movement went forward. And what I want you to know is that the civil rights movement went forward in a peaceful manner because of their leadership. A lot of cities, during the civil rights times, they had all kinds of things going on. They had riots and things like that going on. But due to the leadership of the mayors during this time, specifically Mayor Allen Jr., Ivan Allen Jr., he was able to facilitate and to lead and to guide Atlanta through the civil rights movement in a peaceful way. And these are just images from that time. We demand equal rights now, jobs for all now, full employment. Those were some of the issues during that time that those mayors guided us through, and they had an impact. That is how they had an impact during that time. So between 1937 and 1970, William B. Hartsfield, that's our first mayor, William B. Hartsfield, and Mayor Ivan Allen Jr., they both served as mayors of Atlanta, and they contributed greatly to the growth. When we talk about growth, we talk about the airports, we talk about MARTR, the train stations, the transportation hub, the bringing of the professional sports teams to Atlanta. That's what we mean by growth of the city. And then we're going to look at a chart that shows how their leadership impacted Georgia. Before we go to that chart, you guys, I'm going to ask some questions, and we'll go through these questions quickly. So, the who. Whenever I teach a lesson, I want to know that you understand what I'm talking about, and we're going to concentrate on the who, the what, the when, the how. So, who are we talking about? Just give me a name. Who are we talking about? Exactly. What are we talking about? What is the lesson talking about? Those two mayors and what? In Atlanta. That's when I say Atlanta, I think that's where. But when I say what, we're talking about what? And how they impacted, exactly, the development, how they impacted, and when. The dates are right up here. Okay, and so we've got all of those our things out of the way, and I'm going to quickly move because I feel like my time is getting away from me a little bit. So these are our charts, and you have them for yourselves as well to get them filled in. William B. Hartsfield, because when we do our gallery walk, we're going to separate the accomplishments or achievements of the two different mayors. So we need to know what contributions to associate with what mayor, if that makes sense. Because we've been collectively saying what they did together, but we kind of want to separate what one mayor did from what the other mayor did. So Hartsfield, he peacefully integrated the city of Atlanta. He established Atlanta as a major transportation hub, and he tripled the size of Atlanta by adding several connecting communities. With that Interstate 285, he was able to connect communities together. After William Hartsfield died, the Atlanta airport was named partly after him. And then this other name, Jackson, we did not discuss this particular mayor, but he was a mayor later on in Atlanta. So there's a combination of the name Hartsfield, Jackson, both mayors, and that's how the airport got its name. And then we'll go to the next slide. And y'all can get your paper filled in. This was Mayor Ivan Allen, served between 62 and 70. His contributions were, again, aggressively, he fought for civil rights. He didn't just kind of let things happen. He was out front and he was bold. And he aggressively fought for civil rights. I've heard Mr. Barnes say actually that on his first day of office as the mayor, he had the cameras follow him, the news media follow him and he took down the signs that said maybe for colors only or blacks only or something like that. So he aggressively fought for civil rights. He was the mayor who had the interstate built and that improved transportation, not only for Atlanta, but for Georgia. He supported MARTA. And he was the one who brought in those professional sports teams. Okay. He brought in those sports teams. So everybody have their charts filled out? Do I need to go back a slide? Everybody have everything we need? And I think that's the last slide.
All right, hey, I'm gonna give you guys a number. I need you to remember the number that I give you. If you're a number 3, I want you to stand underneath that poster next to Ms. Jones. If you're a number 2, you're gonna stand underneath this poster. If you're a number 1, you're gonna stand under the poster at the back. Okay, everybody got it? So we're on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and move, please.
As you're getting in position, thank you for moving quietly. Y'all are the best 8th grade class. Y'all rock. So this is what we're gonna do. This is called a gallery walk. And we want to show our learning. Whatever you learn throughout that lecture, throughout the pictures, you have images on the board. You can draw a picture, you can write a term, but anything associated to whatever your topic is. So there should be a contribution from every single person in that group. So take turns, and add an image or a word or whatever it is that you got from that lesson about that particular person.
And Ms. Jones, when the timer goes off, they'll just switch. Okay, so y'all are gonna rotate. Everybody got it? Everybody know what they're working on? Everybody understand what Ms. Jones just said? Alright, you guys have a minute and a half at each station, so let's try to get some information. You can use your notes if you would like, that's fine. But let's go ahead and get started. Your minute and a half starts now. Okay. Why do y'all look at your notes, guys?
Exactly.
One side notes. Look at your notes. And then give us something that you can look at the table on the map. You gotta check all that.
Special pen?
Yeah, it's this one that somebody gave me. This is a pencil. Yeah.
Where we at? Where we at? What?
We know two.
Somebody.
When the timer goes off, I want you to switch. Remember, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 1. Rotate to the right. Alright, switch.
Which boy?
And you use this right here, you guys.
Any impact, so either one of the mayors. Somebody else, somebody who didn't like.
What age? If I wasn't you,
Because they don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with that.
I don't know when they were. Oh, there you go. No.
you're racist, Andy. I don't have a dad.
Marvin,
Yeah.
No. Do I live here? I do that to my sister too. It's hard.
Pastor God be working.
I do it to
Oh, you heard like you
You already hit me in the chin.
alright, 10 seconds and you go sweat.
Whatever's that.
Trace?
Alright, switch. Switch.
Most of them.
And on this last round, I wanna see some images. Cause a lot of times, if we see an image, that'll help us remember longer. Give me some images.
Somebody else, you didn't already right. Simone, just vote. Thank you for writing. You don't have to go. They can tell you what to write.
How was your job?
We just, oh, okay.
What would you like to add to the
Yeah,
gallery?
This is the one thing we learned.
Draw off the ball, baby.
It's a right here too. Is it cold down there? Is it cold?
What do you think?
You doing it, baby?
Yep.
Y'all have another motion? Somebody else could be doing it at the same time.
Yeah, A-line, so close to the house.
I don't have no kids.
God made us.
I like that right there. Good job.
That's my idea.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, I get it.
Actually, go that way.
Okay, so guys, I'm gonna need one person to be spokesperson for this poster. Who is that gonna be? Yes. I'm gonna need one person to be spokesperson for this group. Who's gonna do it for me? You're gonna do it. Thank you. Good job. Did you ask?
Yeah, I got it.
I draw baseball bags.
So when the bell rings, you guys, everybody except for the spokesperson for their group should be seated when the bell rings, when the buzzer goes off.
Alright, time's up, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hey, make sure y'all have the markers with you in your hand, please. Simone.
So thank you all for being seated so quickly. You all did a fantastic job as I walk around and I see what you wrote, what you drew. But at this time, we're gonna get one spokesperson from every group, and they're just gonna tell us what what their poster, has on it and what it represents, in your own way. Yeah. Who are we talking about? Wendy?
Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm. Longest served, is that accurate information, you guys?
No,
Yes.
you have more in this, bro.
Huh?
You have more information in it.
No, that's accurate, what you said,
Oh,
who's the
yeah.
longest serving mayor, that's accurate, good job.
I'm gonna get some.
Accurate information. Accurate information, yes. Good job. What does this represent? What is that? So I guess your group didn't add that, but that's a football. And who are those? The Falcons, yes. Great job, you guys, from that group right here. We're gonna go over to this group right here. And, you are discussing the impact on Atlanta, go forward.
The impact on Atlanta, basically, like, it just made Atlanta way bigger than it was before.
Way bigger, correct?
One of the main things that happened in Atlanta, I believe, was the International State 285 March, M-A-R-T-A.
Marta, correct?
Hartsville Jackson Airport, and they built transportation sports teams. One of the, like, we had 3 sports teams,
Right,
basketball, baseball, and football.
yes. And what's this right here?
A train,
And that's part of Marta, right? And then what's this right here?
a basketball,
And that represents what?
the international sports team that
The professional sports team that Atlanta had, and they are the Atlanta what? What's the basketball team? They are the Hawks. Hey, great job, great job. I like it, I like it. And we're gonna, come back here and we're gonna wrap it up. And you're discussing Ivan Allen, okay?
He fought for civil rights and he had Interstate 285 built.
Both accurate points, yes.
This is a junior build. And there was 3 teams for Atlanta. The Braves, the Falcons, and the Hawks.
Uh-huh,
And he served 2 full terms
uh-huh.
as mayor of Atlanta from 1962 to 1970.
Great job. I believe that we have a good understanding of the impact of these mayors in Atlanta. We met our learning targets. At this point, I want everyone to go to Canvas, and I want you to scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down. We are going to, at this point, do our learning check. This will be our ticket out the door. The learning check. Go all the way down, but when you get all the way down, I need you to come up one. And I think it's going to be SS8H10, but I think it's B. It's C. So that's gonna be our learning check. I know I probably have some people who may have already completed it because you're just advanced learners. So if you've done that, fantastic. But the goal is to make sure that we get a 100, so we can always revisit it if you moved ahead of me and you did it already. We can attempt it again so that we can get our 100. But this is our learning check and our ticket out of the door. So as you scroll all the way down, but then when you get all the way down, come back one.